What's up, everybody? You guys are the coolest people. You stick around and stuff. You know that sometimes things can be a little late or something happens, whatever. No big deal. But you guys are the best. I want to thank you for joining me. And yeah, man. So I know that for those of you that don't know, he is up in the Seattle market. So I'm different up there than because they were more they got more of like the TLC loving, or the TNC, like in the union, not unions, but union backing some money. Like they basically had a little bit different of a deal, in my opinion, but still worked out to their advantage. To the delivery driver, I think that you and I were even talking back when all this started. I remember you were doing those lives from like the park somewhere in Seattle, like almost daily or something.
Yeah, I would go sit in the park, and do live streams. Yep.
Yeah, and I remember this was because that's when all this was starting. That's when all the pay up was coming into place, and so like you and I would chat through those. But now, this has been a thing for 2 years. I did take a couple slides here I wanted to put up. So for those that don't know, oh wait, this is the Uber Eats thing. So in 2024, the city of Seattle boldly introduced a minimum wage law for food delivery, targeting companies such as Doordash, Uber Eats. The law required those companies to pay a driver a minimum per mile and a minimum per minute rate, or a minimum per delivery rate. The logic was gig workers should be paid more, and the government could force the companies to do that. The resulted minimum wage of about $26 an hour was higher than the city's $21.30 an hour. To offset these increased costs, the companies chose, believe it or not, to raise prices, meaning on their merchants, also against their customers, passing along the city fee. All this was done. So all the way down to all the way to the merchants now. After companies raised prices, the most expected thing happened. I'm sorry, guys, I'm having to read this without my glasses. Customers stopped ordering food for delivery. Yeah, shocker. One delivery driver estimated that one night of orders that earned him $58 to deliver under the new law would have earned him about $17 prior to the law. Wages were indeed higher in the first few months after the law went into effect, and then dropped. Now delivery drivers have to wait even longer for orders to appear on the app. Tips went down, as did orders, meaning that most drivers have not actually seen any benefits under the new law after the surge of the first few months. And then the new law has been bad for business too. One Indian restaurant owner said a meal that cost around $15 in the restaurants would cost around $35 through a delivery app. He said he wouldn't even buy his food for that price. The restaurant estimates that he has lost about 50% of his business since the new law went into effect. Drivers aren't benefiting and businesses are bleeding. Do you agree with that? All that?
Yeah, I do. And I'm gonna start off by saying this. When I started doing my content, I mainly was over east, on the east side over in Bellevue. So so at first, before pay up, to be honest with you, a lot of the time Seattle deliveries, they didn't make sense. So I would go over east because it's a wealthier neighborhood, more affluent people. The delivery process is a lot easier. I'm not in the city having to park and get tickets. And I started hearing something about the law that they were going to drop. And when they did it, like you said, the very next day that the law came out, I started seeing orders randomly, $40, $50, just back to back to back. And it was like that for a few months, and then it slowly started to taper off.
Like an app's honeymoon period.
Yeah, exactly. Before people understood, because at first it was like the drivers are going to make more money. Everybody was talking about the drivers, and then the conversation shifted from drivers to, oh, we're going to have to pay that.
Right.
And yeah.
Right. I mean, and I was talking even last year about the amount of drivers, like when when it started backfiring, like the amount of drivers were going down in the Seattle area. And then everybody that I know who hits me up about that kind of stuff was like, well, that should be great. Then the oversaturation's going down. I'm like, the loss of orders in the mix of the whole thing in Seattle, like in across the board, yes, but in Seattle, even with the only like 2/3 or whatever the amount of drivers on the platform, there's still not enough work.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong? Again, I'm not talking about anything you might be doing, Hakeem, like other than like I'm just talking about Doordash and Uber Eats. If you're doing other apps, I'm not in.
No, that's the main line ones. So for like I've talked to different restaurants, like I go in and talk to the people and they say even before the legislation, they were still losing on delivery orders.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the restaurants were losing, especially quick service teriyaki, something where your meal is $10-12. Now the places like Joey's, high-end steakhouses, sushi and stuff, they're winning. But like mom and pop type places, because these restaurants, I don't know if people know this, they're a lot. If you got motion, you can negotiate your take percentage with DoorDash if you can. You get what I'm saying? Like certain people, depending on your advertisement package, because I learned all this stuff just because of this legislation. Different merchants have different advertising packages, so they show up during different promotions. People like Chipotle, Jimmy John's, Subway, they have deals where when companies set up catering, they kind of market push those restaurants to get selected. So that's why a lot of Chipotle, a lot of catering orders on the apps is Chipotle, like Domino's, Jimmy John's, Potbelly. So it kind of disrupts.
I'll use Uber, since Uber Eats and Uber is global. I mean, DoorDash is to some level, but not really. But global. McDonald's, the most global restaurant in the world. People ask me all the time. I've been saying this for years. I've already in mind, but straight up, the reason that like people are like McDonald's when there's 1.5 mile from me, McDonald's, then come right back. Maybe it's not that exaggerated, but you get the point. And they're like, why am I not just picking up at that one? Because McDonald's has a global PAR. So they'll has to sell a certain franchises.
Yeah, and a lot of some different like worked out because they're owned by different people. When the legislation came out, they looked to my content. They're like, "Oh, you're in Seattle." I came over to Seattle just to kind of test the waters for a second, and it fizzled out. I'm telling you, like right here, right out of downtown, over in like the Capitol Hill area, I can have my app on for 8 hours and get 0 pings. But
that's where Hakeem and I totally relate, man. I live right near the Capitol too in Denver.
Man, I can turn my apps on.
Him and I are actually both downtown of big cities. So.
It's ridiculous. I should be able to turn my apps on and get a ping. Like I could literally leave them on for 12 hours and then I go to sleep. And then 3 o'clock in the morning, a random ping will go off. Like it happened to me last night. I didn't get when I came back home, I just turned the apps on just to kind of see. I don't get an order until 2 o'clock in the morning. You might get some motion then, but it's cratered. It's cratered. It has you thinking if something wrong with your account or something, because it's that bad, bro. It's like the app, the little timestamp it gives you on the bottom.
Yeah.
It literally says 35, 45-minute wait. And it usually says 1 minute to 3 minutes, maybe 5 to 10. It literally will tell you.
But I gotta say, like in our city, that's never helped me anyway. That's never been right. Like the DoorDash.
Yeah, it's not right.
Yeah, 5 to 7 minutes could be 30 to 40 minutes.
It's just funny that it's so bad that even that timer is trying to reflect it's almost an hour wait time.
Yeah, it's trying to tell you, like, hey, dude, unless you're being serious about trying to just make a few bucks tonight. You might not even want to work. Like,
no, it's a waste of time. I tell people.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a waste of time.
I mean, obviously, because they in no other like we deal with the transparency law. You guys have something different because you went for the money, or your city did. But some of these people, they still don't have either of the transparency. But here's an example. Like, I honestly feel like. I see Jada dropped it in the chat somewhere that something relating to, this sounds like, or here, Prop 22 works kind of the same. You have to wait hours for an offer in between. Yeah, but again, Prop 22 in the beginning, all of you guys, well, maybe not you, Jaded, I don't remember, but for some reason, I think you too, were all like, dude, hell yeah, man, Prop 22, Prop 22, Prop 22. Like there was a longer honeymoon period in California with some of you guys. See, I saw all these, I always saw were coming out like before they even set. I was like, this is going to screw you guys. And I swear everybody was like, no, man, we're going to be.
Like, you know what? You want to know something? I'm gonna give this 2 cents. I think what happened is, because I'm not gonna act like I paid attention to this. I didn't fight for this. Not saying I didn't support it. I didn't know any of this was coming until about 60 days before. Like literally, I had no clue about any of this before this dropped.
Well, I mean, Prop 22 got on the ballot, so okay. But yeah,
but what I think from what I see outside looking in, if tell me if I'm right, because you've been paying attention to this. I think it started in a good place with good people on both app side and then like in the community of the drivers. But then I feel like as time went on and people started getting on the hook for it, the corporation kind of started like putting up a finger to the city, because that's kind of what they're doing. They're like, the longer you guys do this, we're going to keep upping the fee, because it started as a $5 fee, which subsidized it was like $5 for your fee, or like the formula,
the city council pay up legislation fee.
Exactly. There's a thing where it's like you get $5 minimum per offer or whatever the formula is. Every year that they allow this legislation to be like this, they said they're going to increase the fee every year. Now it's like $5.30 something cents. Soon it's going to be $6. So, you know.
But what I know too from people is that the customer sees that they just pass it right along to them. They're like, "Hey, here's that city council fee. You're paying it."
Yeah, and that's what they put in the emails. They put it in the emails that we get. And when they first did the legislation, there was like promo that went out to all the customers. The way that they worded it was like, "Yeah, your city is doing this, so we got to do this. And doesn't this suck?" Like that's kind of how they worded it.
Yeah.
And they send us an email every month. These are your, like, the email is kind of like disingenuous. Like, these are your driver rights. The city legislation, like they kind of word it where it's like, they did this stupid stuff. Isn't this annoying? Like it's crazy.
So by no coincidence, I am wearing my Dumpling hat. You guys probably can't read it. Dumpling was founded, my good friend Joel, CEO of Dumpling, was founded in Seattle. Joel actually sits on the city council board when it passed the pay up legislation, but he was a standout of it. Like he was not, it wasn't like that. It was like, if they have enough, it just no argument, it goes. But he wasn't on board with it. He was one of the people talking. He was right there in there with them saying, no, this isn't a good idea. This is going to kill everybody off. So like he was my primary insider, the CEO of this company, because he was right there involved all the time. That's why when I drop in on you sometimes, I will have like talked to him that day, and he's like leaving a city council meeting, and this stuff's in the process of being passed. Exactly how you said too. Like I remember, because AB 5 got passed into law, and that's why Prop 22 had to be created. But that short window of AB 5, nobody knew until it actually went into effect. A couple people did. And then like in the new year, people were like, you can't be an independent contractor anymore in California. And they're like, what? Like nobody knew. Same kind of thing there. You guys weren't reprising a law, but the way it was set up, and it almost seems like a few people were just in the back room and one weekend signed away something that affects everybody without any kind of vote or anything. And it superseded like minimum, because any of these places, New York, California, Washington State, I feel bad when I keep saying this, when they put the dollar amount in, because that's what screws it up, because that means the government has to be involved. The companies are too shady to be in bed with the government constantly on an economic level too. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, because like what we have is transparency. We didn't fight for any of the well, here's the minimum wage. It's or like California, 120% of the minimum wage for that area. No, or what you guys did. And I'm not even sure I fully understand that. Was it 26 or 26 after expenses? And again, I know it's on the active hour though. That's the big deal. is that
Exactly.
to me, when you give the dollar amount away, not only are you making the government and the companies be in bed together, you're talking about two scumbag corporations, because I'm going to call the government one too. You got the scumbag government, and then you got the scumbag corporation, and they have to constantly work hand in glove. But then on top of that, you've got this like tie to, okay, well, you've actually set a number of a minimum wage, but they're not employees paying into the system. So how are we going to treat this? Well, we'll treat it by calling it active time, which isn't a real unit of measurement. But I always say that any place that did that, on top of the repercussions that would come, you're basically, any of us that have ever complained about, damn, this algorithm has control over me. I believe in the places that have that. I believe that you gave the algorithm more control over you, because now they have to watch how much it's not like they care if person A, B, or C is making all of the money. They want to try and spread it a bit, I'm sure, but they don't really care if they're going to get the job done best, it's going to go to the people that are getting it done best. But at the same time, they're watching to make sure they're not taking you over into that. Like, I would guess your optimization rate of an hour isn't real high on a full day.
Yeah, especially not in Seattle. What I will say is they try to get you on the nose. You can kind of pay attention if you really watch your numbers, because you get an email at the end of the day on each app. You're like how much time you did, the mileage and time for each order, the coordinates. Like, they send you everything. But you want to know what I think they should have did? To be honest with you, I think if they're going to do a pay overhaul for these apps, it has to be countrywide. It can't be state by state. Not saying the wage has to be countrywide, but it needs to be federal legislation, because not so much like you need to pay them this, but there needs to be legislation on how these companies abuse the drivers and how they dictate what you're paid. I should not be getting offers on this app for 12 pickups, 60 miles, $10. I get orders like that on a regular basis. That's abuse, because then what you do, sorry if I'm talking loud, what
No,
you do is you make it to where I have to decline it, especially on Uber. Uber Eats is really bad with this. I'll decline the same order 15 times. It'll knock you out of tier, and now I'm stuck at the lower tier on Uber Eats, because I'm not gonna take a 60-mile offer for $10 with 15 drops. That should be illegal.
That,
Like,
to
even
me,
putting that on my screen.
it almost seems like inverted abuse of the minimum wage law. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not even in Seattle.
You know what? Fine.
And that's not even in Seattle.
You guys want to play around with this? I need you to go 60 miles to take this chicken.
Literally. And now
that's
they do that in the suburbs too.
I might have nothing coming back. Nothing for 60 miles.
Literally. And I've done it. The only place that makes sense is Seattle.
That's a dead run. Right. That's
the only place that makes sense is Seattle. I'm gonna tell you, because you get orders like that over in Bellevue, which is like, it's like the affluent part of where I live, right? Now, when you come to Seattle, I love it. An order like that,
Bellevue's like the northwest.
So like, if you had LA, right? If you had like LA, like general LA, Bellevue would be like Baldwin Hills. But not on hills, like the money difference. Like, LA has money, but all the rich people live in Baldwin Hills.
Though, is like up on the north side of the Puget.
It's over east. Yeah, it's east. So Seattle is where it's at. If you just go over east, like 10 minutes, just across a one bridge, that doesn't make sense over there. But if you cross the water 10 minutes, you love an order that says 15 drops, 60 miles, because when you're done, that adjustment is going to be beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, that order will double.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's weird.
I think another concerning thing to me too, I was stoked about it at first, like that Solo, which we all know about. That Harry's an investor, the rideshare guy, Harry. So I don't think I'm telling anybody things they don't know here. I'm just letting people know that Solo is an app. It's based out of Seattle. I interviewed him when they started. Harry's an investor, and they do something different in Seattle than they do anywhere else. So this isn't about the app at all, guys. And it's no plug. It's this is just that in Seattle they were doing this complete like mapping of the city, and gig drivers were like almost like crowdsourcing constantly to like exactly what they were doing, not just to help the gig drivers, but for the city. And they were actually cutting these checks. This is before the newest model of it. This is really some innovative stuff. And they were giving it over to the city. And the city was coming up with these, like, you guys have traffic like LA and like we do. Like some people might not know, but the Seattle traffic is like a nightmare too. I mean, a nightmare. You guys can be bad. But so all these statistics coming out, and then you do this minimum wage thing. And I just, even on a federal level, the problem becomes every time they do that minimum wage thing, it sucks because there's no way to eliminate what they want to do. The gig apps want this, and they're kind of looking for, okay, yeah, they're thinking in their head, 26 an hour, that sounds fair. But what they're not getting is the active time. So as soon as the company commits active time or puts it into the wording, they still don't fully understand that. Then they're going to throttle you. So you're never going to make that in an hour. Once they figure out the beginning few months, like honeymoon stage. But they can't take out that language and say, that's fine, but you can't call it active time. It has to be real time. Well, if it was real time based, we would be getting actual minimum wage, and then they would have to call you W-2 employees. So that's why I don't like the money in there, federal, state, whatever, because if you put the money in, you have to allow them to put the terminology in, which even if they do use it or not in certain markets, because we know they have behind the scenes algorithms, should not be shocking anybody. And they're, things that probably even some of their own engineers and inventors still don't even understand what they've created. I had Nova Hustles, used to be Nova Dasher on podcast a few weeks ago, and he went to the round table and he was even saying how it was Luis, actually. Luis went too, and I'd had him on the podcast, and he said that it's like a living being now. Like he was watching the coders in real time, and he said it didn't feel like they were coding to, oh, here's what we're doing for the newest update. It felt like the way he explained it was, it felt like they were trying to control the beast.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like almost like it's like a living being, this damn algorithm now. And it's like, they're just trying to jump on board and understand it and navigate it a bit. And to me, that's crazy. I think it's that out of line now, where it sees legislation, and even though it's only a partial AI, it's learning from Seattle. Like, this legislation sucks. Throttle everybody to at most 65% of an hour. Nobody gets over. If this guy hits 65, give anything we were going to give him normally to this guy who was only at 40. It's like that floor meets ceiling with pay thing I always talk about too.
Yeah, it's wonky. Some days you'll get orders back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and then the next day nothing for 24 hours.
And I mean, if you have them back to back to back to back to back, are you accepting everything because of the pay model?
Just about, yeah, because you're always going to come out on top. Now, like I never really, especially in Seattle, the longer the order, the better you want it. Like, I wish somebody said, hey, take this fried chicken 70 miles. You'd be like, I would gladly do that, because you have me act, like you said, the activated time. So you know how long it's going to take me to drive 70 miles, on top of the fact, because the way the pay is supposed to be set up, you get an initial offer, and the adjustment comes in when you travel time or mileage that's not accounted for in the original equation. You get what I'm saying? So let's say, like, oh, this mile was supposed to go 10 miles, but for some crazy way, like, I don't know, like in the Bay, right? They got all those bridges. You can't go across this bridge. You got to go all the way around the Bay. So you love that because you're getting paid that entire distance, because we were all complaining, when I got to take a detour, I don't get paid. You know what I mean? I got to drive an extra 30 minutes in traffic. I'm not paid. That's where you win. But to be honest with you, I think they leaving it the way it is, because at the end of the day, the apps are winning. Because think about it, the only time they change stuff is when they're losing.
Right.
So if they're winning, they get the $5 fee, they get to blame the city. You know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
mean,
Like people.
look, I mean, here I went back just a couple of years. These are just let me see if one grabs me, but I'm just trying to go back to I mean, this is what is this? King 5. This is from 2 years ago. Seattle DoorDash when they were doing a breakdown, Uber and DoorDash, but specifically on DoorDash, Seattle was in a top 5 cities for DoorDash for like 4 years in a row. And they said that it is now, this is an article on 2 years ago on it being the most expensive. 2 years ago. I mean, I know that's shortly after that legislation went in place, but it just shows like what they did to the customers, to the merchants. And when you said the merchant earlier, I've been mentioning this lately because I don't think you know this, unless you've caught the like couple pieces. I've discussed it a little, but I'm waiting to have Dave Cleary on from Big Red F in Boulder, because in Boulder, they pulled something very strange. They actually, Boulder's a very weird space, and they they won't let Walmart in. They don't let corporate rule happen and stuff. So Dave Cleary, who owns a lot of the restaurants, started doing this thing where he uses DoorDash drivers, but when you click on his restaurants in the DoorDash app, you are moved to his website where you order the food. Then you are paid from him from being on the DoorDash platform. Makes their drivers feel paid. He didn't make the deal with Uber Eats, but he made it with DoorDash. And the deal was, I don't pay you a damn thing. I do the processing. Wow. The customer pays through my website, and he's got his 5 restaurants. Now he's got like 10, 11 more. And they're the 5 biggest. His are the 5 best restaurants in town. Now he's got 10 or 11 more. Yeah, they're not the McDonald's and stuff that service the college yet, but all of the restaurants, which Boulder is like all like mom and pop own one-off type restaurants. So all this city is going to go under that model. And the demand is DoorDash your drivers. And here's how the drivers get paid. The drivers get paid $4.99, whether it is $1 order or whether it is $1,000 order. And then the tip is according. Now, I've lived in Boulder out of the 20 some years I've been here. I lived in Boulder 2 of those years. And I can say that if that were the situation, I'd do that all day, because those people tip heavy. And also now they pay through the restaurant, so they see the restaurant prices.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's horrible. And they have the receipt has to be delivered with it. So now everything DoorDash is for, like, their drivers are doing this. And somebody was asking me, what's DoorDash getting out of it? The exposure to be able to stay in Boulder, even though they're literally paying for all of this to happen and all the advertising. They can't make a dime on any of it.
Yeah, Uber Eats makes you throw away the receipt, or they try to tell you to throw away the receipt. Don't give it to the customer. Yeah. I'm like, well, like if you look at the prices, you'll go in the store. So that used to confuse me when I would go in the liquor store and do a liquor store order, because it says, oh, this bottle of alcohol on the app is showing it's costing $50, but in person it's $45. So I'm thinking I'm grabbing the wrong alcohol, not realizing, oh, they're surcharging this stuff, and you're seeing it in real time. You know what I mean? So I always said if they did a pay model change, it should be, like you said, a flat rate, but there should be some kind of surge on distance. So the further you can order whatever you want. I don't care if you want to. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say I don't care, but nobody's gonna do this. If you do, you're gonna pay for it. But I don't care if you want to order something 100 miles away. You're gonna pay for that distance, and this is straight up. You guys know the fee. We'll do promo so customers know what it's gonna cost, and there's no confusion. Because if you want something from across the water, you should know it's gonna cost more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when you say across the water, a lot of times that's because I've been up there many times, but if I'm remembering, you could be referring to areas where across the water means they don't have the same things that you're going to get on the other side of the water. I just want to make that clear to any listeners on the audio podcast, and that because
you get to different sections
there's
in
a lot
city.
of bridges and things that go to.
Yeah, it's a lot of bridges. Like New York, different sections of the city, they're all close, but you get there in 10 minutes. Right. So like you know what I mean? Yeah, you're trying to get stuff from over here. Like I get orders all the time. Hey, go to Home Depot and drop off. Like I got one like 2 days ago. They wanted me to get on a ferry. I said a ferry, like just crazy trying to pay. You know what I mean? Now that would have made sense because that order started in Seattle. Now imagine doing an order where it takes you 2 or 3 hours
I was just
engaged
gonna
at that.
say those ferries aren't quick either.
Nah, so you know what I mean? Those orders people love. They love taking the Costco shop where you're shopping for 50 things in Costco and you're driving 40 miles in Seattle. They love orders like that.
So let me
I
ask
don't
you.
like.
So let me ask you this part then. So if in a perfect world you're loving, if this could happen, you're loving just 3 miles to also though back and forth if every minute is occupied. Like if you were just
Yeah, I
going
don't
down the
mind.
same road back and forth, if I'm 100% like you're cool with that, with the amount of pay. Problem is you can't get to it, but so aside from that, are people tipping? Or are people onto
No,
the fact of, dude, I'm paying I can't believe this Seattle
no tip.
fee. And
I look at. I'll send you some screenshots because a lot of I've been trying to get away from
well, I
taking
meant,
screenshots.
and I'm saying that to the listeners as well, because Seattle used to be a huge tipping market.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I go over to Bellevue. You know what I mean? But no, I have orders, bro, where I have some screenshots where it's $25 base pay, zero tip. $30 base pay, 50 cent. Nobody tips. Nobody. Like you try. Like my girlfriend, I'll tell her because I'm a driver. She be like, the only reason I'm tipping is because I'm with you, right? I just can't disrespect the driver. And we always say, I order delivery maybe 4 times a year as a driver in the middle of a downtown area. And I have to be sick, car broke down. I got my son with me. I can't just it has to be some dire situation. And I gotta try to tip $2 or $3. But you're not getting out of Seattle on a food delivery offer. Like you order a Big Mac meal, you're paying $30 for that.
I
Like
know,
just a Big Mac meal
I
from
know it's also packaged. It's also packaged up to the customer. Like if I've never worked a gig app, now again, this is why it doesn't fly as much in my opinion today either, because I think even the customers are aware. Not only are they being ripped off, but they've even started to learn a little bit about the trickle down effect. Because let's say I'm a customer and I'm in Seattle and I'm ordering and I see the Seattle city council fee, and however DoorDash or Uber Eats is wording it in the app to the customer, me, right? Like this is a fee the city council passed to make sure our drivers get paid hourly, minimum wage. I'm hearing weird words: minimum wage, hourly. Okay, maybe
I'm
I
gonna
don't
say
have to
this to
tip
you. I'm
here
gonna say this to you
anymore.
because I don't want to forget this. I do not want to forget this, right? The way that they worded it, I'm gonna tell you this. The way that they worded it, they pit the driver against the community. Because what they did was they rolled out the pay for us, right? They all it was on the news. My son's mom sending me articles like, "Oh look, y'all getting paid hella money now." Like they did this thing to like mess up the PR of the driver. It was shitty, bro. I'm sorry. Like
Well, I'm
the way that they
sure.
did
I'm
that,
sure.
they literally like I had people talking to me like, "Well, shit, y'all get paid hella money now. If only you knew." No, we don't. Like literally, they DoorDash and Uber Eats, they shiesty, bro. They played the fiddle, played the city against because the city kind of just people know the city was trying to give us the money. Like I'm gonna say that clearly. Nobody is mad at city council for what they were trying to do because they were noble in trying to get us the money. DoorDash was shiesty
But wait a
because
minute.
that fee.
But wait a minute. Really, you're not? I'd be pretty pissed, man, because everybody has to think outside the box. You got to at least have one in your city council. You got to have one of us that understands that, like, dude, wait a minute. Before we sign anything, every one of these companies is a scumbag. Let me see that again.
Yeah.
And then run your head around it a million times because there's going to be something wrong.
They destroyed the PR of the drivers, bro. Literally, they had people looking at us
when the
like
city
crappy.
says we have a win. They're like, cool, let's at least play the bat. Let's at least swing the PR our way and at least get that going.
That is very true, bro. Like I don't understand what was the point of them trying to like set the drivers up to where people were looking at them sideways like that. But when like when you would drop stuff off, I would drop orders off, and people aren't like, nobody asks people about the tip, but like the customer say something to you like, oh, I heard something about the whatever, and they're like, oh, you guys are getting paid now. Sorry, I couldn't tip, but da da da. I'm like, dude, we're getting like one offer every 4 or 5 hours, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
So
It's not working out like you think it is.
it's that bad. So let me ask you this on a, like, what was your I know it's a tough thing. Like maybe not the weekends or something that you just hit miss, too many people, whatever. But what would be like your best weekday? Like a Thursday? Can we agree that a Thursday was a good day?
So like
for you,
okay, you said not a weekend. You said not a weekend.
Just pick
I'm gonna
one.
tell
It
you
could be any day.
I'm gonna say this. Seattle, before pre-legislation, Seattle was such a good market. There was no difference. Every day, the city has so much money. Prior to like they that's what I mean by they destroyed it. The people before the legislation, nobody, because we all understand that DoorDash was kind of expensive, but we weren't complaining. We weren't like, oh my God, like I'm gonna avidly not order. Like we were all like, damn, a Big Mac costs costs 9 instead of 8, whatever. But like as soon as the legislation came, but every day, bro, every day was just, it was so good. Every day, it was so much every day, bro. You could sit in Seattle 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock. It didn't matter
because at the same time that honeymoon period was happening for you, DoorDash and Uber Eats had not raised the price on the customers for months. That meant the customers were still ordering the same and going, okay, dude, well, yeah, okay, cool. Everybody's happy. And you guys were more than stoked because it was like, this is better than it was. Maybe this isn't so bad. But then they had already made the decision. The decision was already made. It was just how long? Like 3 months in, we're going to charge the customer double. We're going to add this line fee, that, and they're going to totally notice it, but there's no way around it. We're going to charge the merchants more. That's why my friend at Big Red F in Boulder is doing this whole thing, because he said that per order, and you'll know this knowing restaurants like you do, his per order cost on each order going out was 29% more than in-house. Like, dude, if your food cost is 29%, first of all, in the restaurant industry, 29% means you're losing. Just that alone. So if you're adding it to another food cost, man, like you're literally losing money on every offer.
All the restaurants were saying, especially mom and pops, they were losing. They were honestly losing. They were losing pre-legislation. Like that's what I would talk to them even before. They were already saying, to be honest with you, any shakeup and we're losing. That's why they looked at us like crap. A lot of people like, why do these restaurants look at drivers like second class citizens? Because every time they see you, they're looking at a loss. Especially mom and pops, they're really looking at you at a loss.
The groups that pushed this were not big groups, and it was a lot of that persuaded Prop 22 thing too. But of course the customer stops tipping. This gets this bad. But so like if you're out for whatever on the best days, whatever, like a best day these days, like if you're out for 8 hours or 10 hours, the minute you leave your driveway to back home, and I don't use all the apps you want, how many hours of the 10 will be working?
Bro, you're lucky if you get one. I'm so serious. Like, I don't think what's the word of the year? Everybody was laughing at the word hyperbolic. This is not hyperbole. I'm literally not being hyperbolic. I'm in the middle of Capitol Hill right now. I can have my phone on from 3:45 to midnight and get 0 pings on 2 apps at the same damn time. Shit, I had 3 apps. I had Grubhub at a point. I would get elated when I would hear that bing bing on Grubhub. Dude, literally, you can sit in Seattle for 12 hours. 0, nothing. So I tell people, do not do it. Because people ask me all the time, where should I work? Is it worth it in Seattle? Like, especially when I was posting my screenshots on Facebook. Is it worth it? Because I would post them. I was having fun. Like, it's kind of like a casino or whatever. I say, do not do it. Go somewhere. Don't do it. I'm telling you. Because everybody came down here. And not only did everybody come down here to work, they throttled everything. So it's like a double punch. It's too many people, and the orders cratered. It'd be different if there was still the same amount of orders, but it was just hella people. Then the cream of the crop would rise up. They let all the crappy drivers fall off and not give them nothing. But it's like they double punched you. They took half the offers away, and every year it gets more expensive because I'm telling you that fee gets up. It goes higher. It started at $5. It's now $5.35. In a couple years, and that's how it's in the legislation. Every year that fee by law goes up.
So even if I'm the customer, man, like I got to tell you, like here's part of the problem I see is that when the cost went up as the customer to me, and I'm thinking, you know, of course I'm hoping you're being taken care of, but let's assume I don't know how bad it really is. And I see that $5 fee crossover, and I know the costs have gone up. I might have read an article here or there or whatever. I've somewhat got I'm like, what? That's when a bunch of people, especially in the Seattle market, were like, dude, enough. So I don't even think here's the honest truth. I don't think they would care if it went from 5 to 5.35 today or this year. I think they're still at, dude, I left when it was 5. Like, I don't think that they care because they're already like, dude, you exposed yourself. You have like, I can't remember the name of the restaurant. I want to say it starts with a W. Is there a place like Wawa or something?
No, we don't have Wawa here.
Okay, well, no, but it is there. So I must be saying the name wrong because there's a place there that's known for its like satay chicken sticks.
Owajimaya. Is it a grocery store?
There's only a few of them, but they're anyway, in-house, they're like $8 for the satay chicken stick, right? It's like a kebab type thing. But on the Doordash menu, it's $19.50 per one. And that's not the service fees or the processing or anything. And it's in Seattle. They're only in Seattle. And that item alone is 220% for the item. Then you're going to pay the service fee. Then you're going to pay the delivery fee, which doesn't go to you. Then you're going to pay the Seattle pay up legislation fee. Mm-hmm. I mean, at this point, like you're just looking at it going, no. I'll just walk down there and walk down there and get 5 of them for $40.
Yeah, I'm a driver. I do it all the time, dude. I refuse. I don't order. I'm telling you, and that's coming from a driver. No, Bubba in the chat, they said, "What did I do to make like what kind of changes did I make?" I didn't even have to make a change. I just stuck with what I was already doing because I was working over in the suburb area. Seattle is like the bigger city part. So I made the decision to just go over to the suburbs and just deal with the people working in the corporate America instead of trying to deal with like the legislation. Because when you work over in Bellevue, the legislation doesn't touch over there. It's only Seattle.
Oh,
so in Seattle, yeah, and what people don't know,
Washington State is under some too, isn't it?
No, nothing. It's only Seattle. It's only Seattle. But I could literally travel across the water 10 minutes and get out of pay up, and it's just Wild West, just like regular DoorDash, regular tiers, regular life.
Like for people that maybe have just like looked at a quick shot of the state, yes, they've noticed Seattle's big. Like just like Denver, I have like 20 zones in Denver. There are like 20 in Seattle too. Like Seattle's
there's 4. It's just 4. It's a big city, but it's just 4.
But that's a big area to do delivery, right? That's where you would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tell people don't do it. Just don't. You're gonna. It's a liability, dude. Because you will sit here. If you're chilling somewhere out here at dinner,
so
you want to try to catch an order.
Who does the Seattle work? Like who goes in there and goes, you know what? I hope you want the politically correct answer? No, I want the real answer.
Migrants.
Yeah.
Migrants.
Or I don't know if you saw this, man, and I got a piece coming up on it, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But I also clipped a short video of it. I've been doing a deep dive into live TikTok streams. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this is just one of them.
Oh.
When this is live on TikTok, he is selling all of these accounts live stream on TikTok. It is allowed. I have tracked about 30 or 40 of them with the help Luis at this point. I'm about to do a complete exposure on it. And
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to
he's
check
sitting
that
there.
out.
He's got the cities listed, what accounts you can buy. Oh, I don't have a Flex in that account, but I got a Spark. You want a Spark? I got a Spark. Literally live streaming, selling on TikTok. You can
Now,
report
yeah.
them. They do nothing. DoorDash is
Now,
aware.
just
TikTok
for the
is
record,
aware.
when I say migrants, I don't got nothing against any of them. I'm like, hey, get your bread, bro.
No.
I'm just like,
I'm
yeah.
just putting out there something to you. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
new to
yeah, yeah.
me.
But
Facebook
what I
used to
think
be a
they
way to
do.
get them. Now it's a live stream.
Mhm.
Like there are ways to get a fake account because even I would say this, even to the migrants, dude, it ain't worth getting a fake account to take $2 no tip. So I mean, like,
Yeah, and
but
what they do, they you know what's crazy? I was seeing people do it on YouTube. A lot of the people, I think the apps, they know who has these accounts, right? Not the bot ones, but like I just have a hunch there's like some kind of fast track action going, right? Where they kind of they come over and they give them the account and
yeah.
they know that that's who that account is with, so they're giving them these crappy offers.
So
You get
I
what I'm saying?
actually I live in just this about this equally the same type of city. I think you know that Denver has had. I mean,
Mhm.
they were dumping them here. We had more per capita when I did a live with Hannibal from New York, like about a year and a half ago, and at the time, literally, we had more per capita being dumped here than New York City. Like I'm in
Yeah,
Denver,
it's
so
wild.
I dealt with all of it, and I know what you're saying. That there was a time when you would get here, and I mean, hell, they were pretty I mean, they were giving them laptops and stuff for a while. But yeah, I think I even know what you're saying. Like, here's a phone, there's some accounts on it here, dude. Yeah, paper tags.
Yeah,
We know the
the
drill. You know the
cartels was
drill.
getting in on it too. The cartels was getting in
Exactly.
on it too, and they would get people
Exactly.
entrapped in it to where you worked it. It was extortion. You worked this app, and like they would do like modern day app slavery, where they would work the apps and get like a piece of like the little. That's why these people were taking crappy offers because they got like a metaphorical gun to their head because they're like make this much or else. So like,
Or a real one, dude. I actually, our friend Luis at Delivery TV, shout out. He exposed this whole thing in Houston, and he is from Venezuela, but he's here legally. And he
mhm.
exposed part of a cartel thing where he literally went down there and accidentally got in the mix and had to um, kind of play the moment out and actually use a car and a phone from an offsite location, obviously completely run by cartel. I think that's fair to say that. But completely run by cartel. They give you the car, they give you the phone. When you go back, because he was brought into this by a friend of his to look into it, but he wasn't trying to do it. But he got
Mhm.
sucked in. He did it. He only did about 20 hours. He went back and they told him he couldn't have the car anymore. And they took the phone and they were like, you can't have the car. You're only doing 20 hours. What are you talking about? Like, get the hell out of here. They took the phone and he left. He didn't get anything. Now, obviously, he ain't going to fight about that. But the people who were working 60, 80 hours and earning, let's say that they earned $2,000, these people would like take the car, take the phone back and give them like 200.
Yeah,
And they'd
literally,
keep the 1,800.
it's wild, bro.
So when you say cartel, I'm very familiar. In fact, too familiar with it. So it was like
Yeah,
really
and
hitting
I don't
it.
even have any like I didn't even have any stories or knowledge of like a specific. I heard somebody tell me about that they
I'm
were
just
doing
trying
it
to
like that,
make sure
especially in
people
Cali.
understand how bad when a cartel is involved, how bad I mean, the driver, I don't even understand what they're doing at that point.
Right.
Like
They're taking anything. That's why
I
they
wouldn't
take
even
anything.
venture to say like, dude, I don't care how bad it was where you were. You might want to go back there. This ain't
They're taking
good.
like I've had like I've came into people where I was doing it. I was just chilling, bro, like just sitting somewhere, and the dude comes in and he's like looking lost, and I'm like, I bet you he's a delivery driver. I talk to him. He don't speak no English. Now, I don't care. I'm just like, you know what I mean? But I help him do the order. And I just felt bad. I'm like, bro, like 2025, I say like 2025, it was bad. It's probably still bad now, but like you were able to see visually, like all the people that do Spark, I don't do Spark. So I don't have the knowledge about Spark. But I was seeing people like, Robert Reese doing videos about it, a whole bunch of people where people were just sitting in the parking lots to the point to where they changed the rules and pushed out the geofence radius. So you have to like back up. I'm like, bro, you guys are getting them to change the rules, bro.
But did you also see there was something down there? I don't know if you guys were able to do this because I think they had already tricked the wire here. But if you notice down there, not only did they get the honeymoon period with Prop 22, but dirty stacking was able to all count as the same active hour. So like, I hate saying this, but like if you took an Instacart and you took a Grubhub and you took and you took an Uber Eats, you picked them all, or you picked up the Grubhub and the Uber Eats, then you went and started doing the shop. You're being paid active time on all three of them. And a bunch of these people got caught, some deactivated.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know, I get what you're saying.
If the minimum wage, if the minimum wage in San Francisco, the minimum wage is $19.88, I believe. So let's call it 20. So 120% of minimum wage is $24 an hour. So somebody in San Francisco doing all three of these would have then made $72 that hour because they were active on three. And it took a while for them to figure out, wait a minute, what the hell are these guys doing?
I had I'm gonna tell you, Grubhub, they asked my account because I like Seattle, it's a big city, bro, like you said. So you're sitting in traffic. So they'll accuse you of trying to milk the clock.
Yeah,
when I'm trying to get from top town to bottom town through the middle of Seattle in a city that has one freeway through the middle of the whole city. Is one freeway in Seattle that just goes direct. You know what I mean? And bro, they took my account away, but they monitor, and I got a screenshot of it. There's like back end AI whatever where it has like a map, the whole route you drove, different little color markers. I was like, oh snap, they can really see like. It almost took me getting kicked off the Grubhub to see like, oh, they can kind of see. There's a whole little interface that they can kind of keep track of how long something's supposed to take, the checkpoints of when you got to whatever. I was like, oh, okay.
They're not supposed to. And we actually had a federal ruling on this against Domino's in the 80s because Domino's in the 80s was like doing a 30 minutes or your pizza's free. But that came out of the driver, who weren't independent contractors, but kind of.
Well, you take it out their check. That's stupid.
So no, but traffic accidents went up, and they were proven to be because of Doordash, because of Domino's drivers. So a federal ruling happened on all this about. This is why I always say that the on-time stuff can't really exist. They can try and map you and make sure that, hey, dummy, why are you going east when it's west? Like, I get that, but you know what I mean? But like they really can't say you have to be there by this time, even though they do. Again, a metric they not only can't use, but really shouldn't be, because there's a federal court case that can be used against them in any state that it has precedence and says, look, dude, look at what happened. We had accidents and stuff. So we're not even arguing the metrics on this one. You guys just can't do that, but they do. And definitely with you, I would assume every driver in Seattle is being marked. Like you probably, maybe you get 2 orders, not 1 in a day. The next day, like if you're really fast, because they're like, everybody's probably milking it a little.
Yeah, I will say there's a good percentage of people that milk it. Now, when you go in the stores, man, you said honeymoon period, man. That's the best word for it, because there was a time for about 3 months, man. I remember it, man. I was on YouTube every day. I was smiling. I was like, they're like, how is it in GB? I'm like, man, I done made $200. It's not even noon yet. Like. Bro, yeah. I'm telling you, if
I know,
you want the order to take forever.
And you used to hit me up about it because you knew I had that little opposite opinion. You knew I was like,
I'm like, yo,
I see problems coming with this. And
everybody told me to just wait.
Well, I mean, a lot of people didn't. I mean, I was listening to, I love the guys over at the Rideshare guys. So I was listening to Chris and Sergio, and they were a little split on it ish. But they weren't really hitting on the delivery side. They were hitting on the rideshare side more. And Sergio was defending it. I get that. The rideshare side is a little more complicated in Seattle. But overall, like I didn't agree that the Seattle model is good. He was trying not to lock it down to that. I could tell he was talking about rideshare, but at the same time, I actually think it's another big failure that we do have as an example.
It was a setup.
Other cities should look at, like, you want to see what this does?
It was a setup. They wanted it. I don't know which one though. I'm trying to gauge.
Here's my problem. I get what you're saying 100%, but a setup for what? For what?
No, it was like
what's their hoped outcome is my point though.
Is the fees. That's what I'm saying. Hear me out. The setup
then
being
nobody will pay them.
No, everybody's
and the
that's
volume
the thing.
Goes down.
Yeah, it's weird. That's what I'm saying. I think they're trying to run out clock and see who folds first. Because I was gonna ask you, because they put stuff in the legislation, and I'm not saying this like, oh, I believe this. I'm just wondering why. Why didn't they just poison the whole thing? Because they put stuff in it that was good. The transparency was good. We get sick time out here.
That's great.
Yeah, the sick time is. Do you guys get sick time?
No, but again, that only seemed to be in the states where there was a dollar amount. So we didn't push any of that. We just wanted transparency. I think you have human deactivation challenge too. So like if I'm deactivated on any given app, it's right. So like you haven't been deactivated, so good. But like if you were, and I haven't either. But if I was, unlike other states, I believe your state too, comes up as you're deactivated and you have a button there that says challenge. Unlike the other states where you have to email and stuff, you're not challenging to the company. You're challenging to a 12-person human review board that meets once a month or once a week or whatever. And they actually go through these. Mm-hmm. And they
tell you, and do you get the email? Do you have anybody that sends you the email of the rights? I could send you an email of the email that I could forward it to you.
I'm just saying you have a lot of the good components that I do like, the transparency thing. Like if you take a screenshot of the offer you're given, has to be transparent and it can't go down. Even an Uber Eats tip, if it's pulled, Uber still has to cover it. But again, that's not the dollar amount. What we didn't do was bring in active time. Yeah. So we don't have a $20 or $25 or even $50 an hour active time hourly, because that had to be passed along to the customers in all the cities it's happened in. Like here, we just have transparency. We just want transparency, and we want the metrics not to matter. And we've learned that they don't once the transparency works. That's a whole story of its own. And then we really want the right to not feel like every day our job could be at the threat or mercy of an algorithm. And the deactivations or challenges aren't quite the rate they thought it was. Like they were thinking it was going to be like, let's say they thought it was going to be 1,000. We're at like 150. We're at like 15% of what they thought challenges would be, which makes me also think, did a lot of people get deactivated who come onto like these platforms and say, oh, I don't know why I was deactivated, but I wonder how many people are like, I totally know why I was deactivated. You know what I'm saying? Man. Because it went down. Again, if you're challenging, I think that it was, if you challenge it, you have to put a $25 deposit down. If you win the challenge, you get that back. It's like a ghost charge on your card. But if you don't, it goes into the fund that keeps the human review board alive.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think that right there makes people think, well, dude, but like 90% plus of the people who asked for a challenge won.
Wow.
So like if the people who were like, oh, yeah, I'll pay $25. I didn't do anything. They would win. Like all these people were winning. So I think the only major problem I think your city did was the dollar amount. And again, like even like you said, like the way it got played out to people, like look at all these people getting excited. Like maybe we'll go up to Seattle to make a living now. Like, dude, shut up.
No, literally,
you don't even understand. They played everybody. Make a living here anymore.
They played everybody, man. I just like, why didn't you just do it how it was meant to be done? But you know what's funny though? The city knows how they did this before when our minimum wage went up for just regular W-2 workers. This entire way that this happened. So if honestly, if man, everybody, the city and these apps, we just the drivers and the customers got screwed over, man. At the end of the day, because our minimum wage in Seattle was the highest in the country anyway, and it rolled out just like, on this siren is going by.
What is it? $21.84.
Yeah, it's like $20. So when it came out, it was at first in the airport city, and what that is there's a city in like unincorporated King County called SeaTac. It's where the airport is, right?
Between
so
Seattle
all the
and Tacoma, yeah.
In Tacoma, yeah, SeaTac Airport. So they fought for a $15 minimum wage way back, like 2013, right? And
just
so
like
when they got it first,
you mean?
Yeah, just the airport workers. So
Okay.
Only the airport got 15. This was like 2014, 15, right? So when Seattle adopted it as a whole, they layered it out. They staggered it. They staggered it, and they said that certain businesses, depending on your size, you get to do it at a certain phase. That's honestly what birthed the DSPs for Amazon, because Amazon is from Seattle. That's what created the DSP, because Amazon was so big, they didn't want to have to pay that $15 minimum wage along with all these other big mega corporations. So they started creating the break off DSP, so they could technically say they're not a part of us, they're contracted, but Amazon essentially is running the damn DSP. You don't follow their rules, they're going to cut you off. You're getting their packages. You get what I'm saying? So they knew how this was going to play out, because they did it with the regular minimum wage the first time with just the workers. So,
yeah, I just think that overall, my guess, and this is what I said when it began, I said, everybody was like, it's going to be sweet. I'm like, of course it is in the beginning. They're going to make it look real good. But I said, I don't know how long, but you're going to see that in a little bit, everybody is making less and there's less people to make less. That's how I saw it playing out. But I also, you know what? Like, here's the thing. So this is what I was hoping to end on, because I know you were asking me about catering. I think catering is a great way to go right now. I actually was thinking about you and the fact that I showed you that Delivered has left the state. And I'm thinking, that sucks, man. That was something, Hakeem could have tried. And then I was like, but then I started thinking the other way. I'm like, dude, if the catering apps are a little fearful of getting in there because of all that's going on, and that's exactly what that said, what's to stop you? You're a smart guy. I've heard you talk. You can speak well. What's to stop you from like making a little QR code and going in and talking to some businesses about catering?
You know what, man?
I mean, because here's my point. You don't have anything, I don't mean it mean, but you don't have anything better to do while you're sitting for 9 of the 10 hours for an order.
Yeah, nothing. That's, you know what I mean? A couple years ago, it's funny, a dude said that to me too.
I say that because anybody could do that right now in their market. But for him, it's a little different because the catering apps are a little fearful to get in there. Meaning there's a lack, meaning there's a need. There's a demand and there's not a supply.
Yeah, it's crazy too. If you could get in there and do it, if the dude Tony Delivers, you know what I'm talking about? It's a dude that everybody's seen. He was like, he blew up on the internet like a year or two ago. He's like one guy, and that's kind of what he did. He went out and I don't know if he ended up finishing it, but he started an app doing exactly that. If you could start one and you didn't have to blow up a whole corporate structure and pay a huge CEO, all that money that you saved, like getting that like that corporate structure out the way and just kept it like peer to peer, you could keep it cheaper. Because a lot of this money that we're driving, bro, we're paying these CEOs salaries, man. These guys just started operating in profits, and I still don't even really think that they really are.
Do you know that if you just what you just said, like the last minute of what you just said, if you had just typed that into ChatGPT, exactly what you just said, and now create me an easy app and a QR code and a quick business plan and a marketing strategy for what I just explained, it would actually spit out one. You could start tweaking it from there, but you would have the very beginning of just doing it.
Yeah, I see. I haven't really understood exactly what all ChatGPT can do. You're right. I've seen
literally,
I've heard about people coding with it.
I'm telling you, can go to chatgpt.com, not even sign up for an account, just go to the website. Even people are starting to play a little, and you just put in what you just said. And I mean, I could send you an email of like saying, like, create an app, create a QR code to find the business, tie it to my Apple Pay. Nothing that it could do without your permission type stuff, but allow and whatever,
Oh, yeah.
create a Cash App, whatever you want to do. Have a, you create the marketing points like, hey, you guys, like, there's a lack of catering services around. I can do it at a fraction of the cost at 10 times the service, or whatever your pitch is. You're a smart guy. I know you could come up with your pitch.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Somebody told me to do it a couple years ago. I went and did an order and say, man, you should do it yourself.
And then every time you're in delivering food, man, have a QR code ready to pull up on your phone and show that business. Be like, dude, I cater, meaning I can do your guys' lunch, even if it's not a full cater. Just here, I'll do it at half the price. And then it's not just kind of like this, like alley deal. They're going to scan the QR and go to your professionally created ChatGPT. And I hate to say that because I've been against all this AI, but I do think there's some limited uses for it. And this is one. This is one of those times I could see something really benefiting you.
That's a good idea.
In a bad time. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing the bad in it, but maybe there is a good to it.
Yo, you know that you sent me the website. You remember that website you sent me like a year ago of the counter where it was like how much money the restaurants lost? Do you believe in the accuracy of that? Like you put your name behind that? Not like your name, but just like you think that's pretty accurate? It was a website that they set up.
Remind me again of what it was.
Where it was like a counter. It was like a counter of the dollar amount that all the restaurants in Seattle were losing due to the legislation, and it was just a counter of millions of dollars that just kept going.
I mean, I can say for a fact that I don't know where it went in the last quarter. I don't think it was going up, but I do know that you guys were over 15. Well, was it just million? It wasn't just million. Maybe 15 million down in sales in like end August. Like the businesses themselves.
That's what you were telling me. Yeah, you were like these guys are losing millions of dollars.
DoorDash put out an article. There's an article from the other day from
what's that lady's name?
KUOW.org. I think that's a Seattle thing. There's a DoorDash article out that's I think just from days ago called 2 years. It's on DoorDash.com and it's in their their blog. It's called 2 years later, evaluating the harmful impact of Seattle's delivery law. It's on their website.
Yeah, they're trying. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. They're like lobbying against it. But yo, do you remember? I've been meaning to ask you this too. Now I'm glad I'm on here. There's a lady. I think you brought her up too, but I remember doing some orders and seeing her advertisement. She's on city council, and I'm being specific about like ethnicity, so you might know what I'm talking about. It's an Asian woman, and her family owns a restaurant. Who is that?
In terms of what? I know who you're talking about.
What is her name? Her name. I keep trying to remember her name.
That's going to throw me because I know her through Joel.
No, I don't have nothing bad to say. To say.
No. Well, yeah. It depends.
I'm not like I'm vouching for. I'm just you told me about you brought this situation up to me.
I'll have to look. I'm sure I can find it in my own notes. If not, I can just text Joel. He'll tell me.
Because I remember seeing you brought it up, and then I remember going down in the Chinatown and doing orders and seeing her campaign pamphlets in the restaurants. Yeah.
Is she popular? Was she popular?
I wouldn't say like popular like people were saying her name. I just remember when this was all panning out.
Yeah.
When drivers were getting mad, right? Because when people started realizing that it was like feeling like a setup, like wow, we thought we were getting something, but it's really an L. People were pointing like when they were doing the city council meetings. You remember that when they were like, you could come down to City Hall, and everybody was like, yo, EGB, you should go down there and sit. I was like, I thought about it. Some people were like, I hope I ain't burn nobody. They were like, oh. They tried to make her recuse herself because they tried to say it was a conflict of interest that her family owned a restaurant that was affected by the legislation while she's on city council or a representative in the city. That's essentially what the situation was. So they tried to
Yeah.
make her like recuse herself.
I mean, if she
or
owns
whatever.
70 restaurants, that's one thing. But when somebody owns 1 or 2 or something, come on, man.
Yeah, it was just people was just looking for stuff. It was just crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was just searching for stuff.
I mean, I just pulled this up just because, and I'm looking at this one part. I want you to tell me if this is from the article from DoorDash that, when did it come out? February 2nd, this year. So, 21 days ago. And here's what it has about Seattle. So this is DoorDash on their website and what they're saying. I think it's even worse, but maybe not. Maybe let's hear it. So while it's true some Dashers are earning more for individual deliveries, Seattle Dashers on average earned more than 20% less per hour spent on the app in 2024 than they did in 2023. That downward trend persisted into the first 3 quarters of 2025 as earnings per total time spent on DoorDash app was nearly 30% lower than 2023.
That's being nice.
And that's what I thought too, man. I'm like going, why aren't they? I feel like they're trying to burn them, and I'm feeling like, man, I was expecting a total burn job here that might have even been overkill, but I feel like they're being light compared to what you're saying.
But look, I'm gonna say one last time: you will sit in this city and get 0 pings in an 8. Like, man, 30% reduction would be love. You be happy.
Right. That's why I was like I was gonna
seriously,
say, like, I understand that it's a little down, man, but it ain't that bad. Come on, like.
no, it's ridiculous, dude. Like, it has everybody. It has you between a rock and a hard place. I'm telling you, it's messing with people's minds because you know that the drivers deserve more money. Not more money, like more of, not more of the pie, but like readjust, more of the pie. Not demanding more money from the customer, but readjusting the percentage of the pie. That's what I was saying. But what they did was they shrunk our portion of the pie. They're slowly shrinking our portion while slowly increasing the fee on the customer. So they're pissed and we're pissed.
And the merchant. Let's keep
and the merchant. So we're all pissed. They're mad. They're paying too much. We're mad. We're overworked. They're mad. They're getting charged too much to sell us crap at a loss. And the government is getting a fee, and DoorDash is running out the back door.
Everybody's getting screwed. It's finally everybody. Everybody's getting screwed.
Yeah.
I mean,
they kind of made it like, if we're gonna lose, we're all gonna lose. Essentially, what DoorDash said. If we gotta lose, we're all gonna lose. So
once you even do that to the merchant, you're going to get more of this stuff like is happening in Boulder. It won't happen everywhere at first, but watch these little 150, 200,000 person towns. They're going to start to do stuff like this if they have some pull with restaurant groups and whatnot and go, you know what? Forget this. Like, enough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if they're like my friend had said, like, if they're losing 29% extra on food costs on every order going out the door, you have to pull the plug. It's not even worth the advertising. You're losing money. It's not, you're just losing, period. So
you know what it is too, though? They all don't have their own. I asked him, and somebody told me it's because a lot of these restaurants are still owned by old folks, the mom and pops. They don't understand digital point of sales. Like, there's a restaurant down the street from my house. I don't care. The restaurant's called Sodom. It's a Korean chicken place. And when I was in there doing an order, and I could hear the guy talking to somebody, and he was struggling with digital marketing. Like, he was like, I'm trying to turn the corner. And I saw, and that's how I learned about him. I seen him on Instagram. I was like, oh, this place look cool. So when he said it out loud, I was like, I see you trying. They don't have a way to do digital sales, like, order at home online and then come get it. So DoorDash and Uber Eats is the only way for a lot of these restaurants to do that. So it's like, again, slavery. You don't have a point of sale system for online sales. Well, we have one, but we got to take a percentage. So it's like some freaking, some corporate, you know how it goes, man.
Yeah. When we're, if you're just when you're sitting sometime and you feel like Googling something, Google, Comet browser by Perplexity. That's the company, Perplexity. Okay. And the Comet browser. It's the new AI assist. People are putting more venture capital into this than all of the apps when they started up, because they're going to be finding the people that you just identified. They're going to be working with them to always get them the best price because it's going to be there. Again, it's not full AI. We don't even really have full AI yet, but different conversation. But it's called AI Assist. It is there to help exactly who you just talked about to avoid that crap.
Yeah, because they're taking advantage. There's so many restaurants, especially these cities with like an eclectic hometown kind of like Texas Roadhouse vibe, where you got these. It's like Seattle has a lot of restaurants where it's one-on-one pizza spot, one-on-one. You know what I mean? Where it's you might have like Katsu Burger, you might have 3-4 chains where it's very compact, and these people don't understand how to do that. They don't know, so all they know is, man, and it pisses us off because, the ghost kitchens, they got smart, they got their own. So when you go into their website, you can order directly through the ghost kitchens themselves. They got smart and X DoorDash out the picture. They still use them. So if you want to use DoorDash and pay that extra fee to get it delivered, or you want to use DoorDash or Uber to order online, you can, but you don't have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah. Sue's asking here, I see it's not over in StreamYard yet, but she says, do you see a lot of pop-up restaurants, like mom and pop restaurants closing?
Yeah. Not like where it's like some mass exodus, but I'm gonna give you one specifically since you just asked. It's a hometown staple. It's a place. You can look this up for you guys that are really into this. Look up a place called Catfish Corner on Jackson. They just closed. When you look them up, it's called Catfish Corner on Jackson in Seattle. There's articles about it. And the first thing that he talked about, the owner, it's a black dude, catfish spot, he said input costs, wages. And that's not even delivery. That's, you know what I mean? That's just overall. But again, that's the overall theme, not just on the delivery side. I don't mean to deviate, but they're getting hit two-pronged. They're getting hit just in general, but definitely on the delivery. Yeah, they can't do it. They can't do it. It's a loss for them. They're operating at a loss.
One thing I would add to, and I'm sure Sue knows this, is that I see it around here too. A lot of cities, mom and pops are getting hit. It's just kind of, maybe in some cities not, but most cities where I talk to people, like some of their favorite places are even closing. So I know it for that reason. They're like, dude, my fucking favorites.
Right.
So
I'll tell you.
But I do want to show this. Like, look at this, you guys. Like I was talking about it before. I want to show this real quick, but like kind of as we're wrapping this up. Look, this is year to date. Okay. This is this is January 2nd when this started. DoorDash was $219 a share. Now today, DoorDash closed at $163.94. It lost another 7% today. And if you see here, previous close, so on Friday it closed at $176.24. When it opened today, if you can see on that map, it wasn't even at 170. In after trading, they lost 7 points from Friday. 6 months, in 6 months, they've lost 33% of their company's value.
Yeah, they destroyed it.
I'm saying it's not pretty for anybody anymore. Like even this quarter where some people were like, what was that earnings call? Like, it was very weird because they were like, oh, we have growth in here, we have growth in the revenue, we have growth in certain, but then they missed all of their targets and actually was a horrible quarter for them. Wow. So it's like, somehow, like I listened even to the call, like somehow it was like, somehow they just lied about like, this and this and this and this happened. And it's like, and the numbers did look big. Like we're up 55 million or billion year-to-year sales. Like, and I'm going, oh, where's this going? And then it's like, we missed our expectations by 1.3%. And it's like, because of that, it's all been a failure. And that's why people are getting out like this year to date. I mean, this is just so you guys know, this is just seven weeks.
Yeah, that's capital.
Like in 7 weeks, it's lost 25% of its value.
Hey, don't think drivers aren't paid from those share prices either, because they definitely dump shares on people's heads, cash that out, and pay. That's why you be like, oh my god, why did my pay take an hour to get to my? Yeah, because they got your money sitting in a damn 1-day savings account, getting 1-day interest, and then pay. Come on, I'm telling you, they run all
I guess
kind of
my
games.
point is that kind of crap used to maybe even help them. It ain't helping them anymore.
It's not, because you know what? Thank you to you guys. I tell you, the other guys that do the rideshare stuff, you guys, 2024, 2025, I tapped out of gig news 2026 because I got so mad at the shit. I just kind of just been working and just keeping my head down. You guys informed a lot of people over the last 2 years. I learned more stuff about the corporate side of what they're doing, reading that article from that dude that it's never good for too long. The professor from that business school wrote the article. People were happy about the article and then crucified the article. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. See, I had her on the podcast. Her name is Vina Dubal.
The dude that wrote that order from one of them schools of business. The dude that studied all the pay data from Uber.
You're talking about for Rideshare that broke the Uber code.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, man. All y'all. I learned a lot from, man. I didn't know all the games they were playing.
You know, and even us, they don't like us talking. That's for sure. Because they know, like, dude, I mean, they know when they hear us talking, they're like, they know everything. Or they know most. Like, I'm sure we don't know some things, but they're like, they know way too much that we don't want them talking about. You know,
you think people have ever got
a little ahead of its time too, because I keep up with the politics side as much as it, you know, it pains me sometimes. I do that because it lets me know when their lobbyists know, and if I'm learning when their lobbyists learn, it means that the company can't even go, oh crap, he knows yet. I'll already be talking about it.
Yeah.
When they find out a week later from the lobbyist, you know, like I will have a video up for 5 days. So there's a little problem there. You're not used to gig workers being tapped into some lawmakers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, well, this is what's going on? And I think that Len Sherman, Sue put it in the chat. That's the guy's name.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Len Sherman. I remember when that article came out, everybody was like, "Oh!" But when he wrote the article, we were all like, "We've been saying this the entire time."
Yeah,
we've been saying this the entire time. It took, you guys didn't want to listen until dude blew the spot up, but
yeah,
you know. But they always crap on the food people though. They don't ever want to talk about I mean, they always want to talk about rideshare. It's like, it seems like they try to like shun food delivery in a way. Like they kept us out of the TNC thing and just left us out to dry and lumped in rideshare with the taxi drivers. That's kind of messed up. Because I keep emailing the dude from the Teamsters.
Actually, I need to correct my terminology. It wasn't the TNC. It was that most cities don't do this, but yours did. They got them in with the TLC, the Taxi and Limousine Commission.
Yeah, the TLC. Yeah, they essentially, so they're lumped in with the taxi people in their union with Teamsters. So I'm like, bruh.
It's a very
not yet, kinda. They're not in it. They're just they're like beside, yeah. But every time I email the number for that union, they're like, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, bro, you guys just leaving us out to dry, but it's all right.
Yeah. I think, you know what, man, like, and I think that you're one of the few people I could probably say this to, because I know you would have, if you got on a roll with this, I know it would go well for you. Hell, I could see you having a few employees, man. Take advantage of this horrible moment in time. Hell, even if it's not catering people, go in and grab just lunch clients. Dude, we're getting screwed out here. Did you like my service today? I don't care about a tip. I'm just wondering. Yeah, I did. Cool. Scan this. I'll charge you half price from now on.
Yeah, that's you right about that. I'm gonna get on that. Especially with chat, like you said,
literally, if you're out for 10 hours or whatever you go out for, 7, 6, you got your kid, whatever, 5 on a day, and you're only working 40 minutes to 60 minutes of that time, you damn well should be doing it.
Yeah.
Because those people still want to order, and you'd be going under the radar of all the bullshit. Like, no, pay up, none of this, just, you know.
Flat rate. Every time I tell somebody about this, that's exactly what they say. I had a dude sitting in my apartment on my rooftop Dude, what's funny is the dude who was a coder that coded apps. He was like, bro, we could do it, bro. We could make an app and do it. You know what I mean? Because the dude, one of the old people at my building, he would always see me cooking. He was like, bro, you should sell your food and then have this dude right here make you an app and da 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 da. I just, you know why I haven't done it? It's that I think it's Maya Angelou, right? That your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate, it's you're powerful beyond measure. It's just the execution, man. I you know what I mean, that execution. I'm gonna have to get on it though. That's a good idea for sure.
You know, I can tell you right now that you can get onto I'm sure you can do it on your city's site, but I know if you're willing to pay, like, I can't remember what it is. I know through most cities it's like $20 to $40 on their site. For like 60 or 70, if you're willing to throw it down once, you can have your LLC created by LegalZoom in an hour. You can have a number, you can have an EIN number, and you can start going out and pitching clients and set it up to an Apple Pay, work out your numbers and just figure out your fees. Most of your money will come from tips. You just do a flat rate fee, except on catering stuff that you got to bid or something, but you just are like $5, $7 if it takes me more than this mile. And, you know, always appreciate a tip. And you'll live on tips, dude, like you should be.
That's beautiful.
Just my 2 cents, man. I'm not telling you, but
no, that's a good. No,
I
that's
hate
a good
the thought
idea,
of you
man.
I hate the thought of you sitting in a car for 7/10 or for 7/8 of the time you're spending out, not working but waiting to.
Yeah. I'm telling you, go over east. I don't do it. I'm not waiting that long.
No.
I got bills to pay.
No, we talk about it with the rideshare community all the time. You're in a different situation than most cities, even with bad pay, are for food. So I would say, just like we tell the rideshare drivers, go after the clients, even the small ones, man. They're getting screwed too. You already know this. Everybody's getting screwed. Now you would be letting them just order from the restaurant. The restaurant would be getting what they charge. And you'd just be kind of providing the service of picking it up for them. They've already called it in. Yeah, just go pick up Jan's order. Okay.
He said Jan's order.
Or however you set it up. I don't know. I'm just saying you could make it very easy. And you would also showcase something. You'd showcase city council fees. You'd showcase service fees, delivery fees, upcharge of menu items. All of a sudden, they'd kind of bring back to reality and go, wait a minute. It's only $14 for all the food, and then you're only charging me $5, so it's $19, and I can tip you, but this same order was costing me $57 with a tip last week. Yeah, well, you're not using the app anymore. I'm not screwing you over.
Literally.
Anyway, I appreciate you joining. I appreciate the perspective from Seattle. And you guys, if you're not familiar, I think I made a banner here. He said he hadn't been on YouTube for a minute, but I'm gonna put it up anyway.
Thank you. I do mainly food content now. I'm on YouTube. I do food content now. Yeah.
I've seen your food content, but I mean, still no reason that people shouldn't maybe go check it out. Go check it out.
Yeah. Thank you.
I was gonna even tell you, like, I've seen your food content, and like, it makes me hungry too, because I don't know what your point is sometimes when you're showing me good food. I'm like, dude, I'm hungry. Like,
look, you talk about getting something. A lot of people don't know. I started doing food content because I would go do orders, and then people's food, I'd be looking at the receipt, and I'm like, man, I wonder if this stuff is good. So I started going back to the restaurants and just recreating their receipt, like exactly how they made it. Like I would, because you take pictures of it anyway. Just go to the store and say, hey, remake this order. Like I did it with a place called Rice and Spice. Remade it was jamming too. I was like, ooh, got their spice level and everything.
Yeah. So check out his channel, NGB Worldwide. And yeah, thanks for joining me, Hakeem. And we'll catch up soon, man. I hope something works out. Hell, in all honesty, I hope you do some version of your own thing. That's what I would really love to hear. How you're I don't even need the apps anymore. Fuck them. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining. Be safe out there, earn smart, and be good to each other. And we'll see you next time. Peace.